We're live. Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. My name is Robert Schinetsky, the supplement engineer. Joining me as always, my Polish brother from another mother, Mr. Lukasz Rytkowski, Prometeus Intelligent Sports Technology. The other two scallywags of our quadruplets of the Final Scoop podcast will be joining us imminently. We're a little bit late today because we had our next door neighbor's son was turning 6. So we've been over there for the past 3 hours hanging out, enjoying all sorts of cake, hot dogs, libations, Polish sausages, and whatnot. Regardless, we're here. Please post up any comments, questions, queries, quips, or smart-ass remarks you have for us, and we'll get to anything and everything over the course of the next time that we're here with you today. My man Lukasz, how is life in Poland?
All good.
All good?
The sun is shining. I look nice and bright.
Nice and shiny. Nice and shiny, my man.
Yeah, man.
There we go. Okay. This way I can see, because I have this little camera. It is pointed right here, so I can't see your face at the time. So if I'm trying to figure out, let's do that. I look better. That way I can see your facial expressions, because otherwise, if I put it right there, I can't see anything but your forehead and your chin. So I'm going to put it down here.
That's good.
We'll
the less you see, the better.
There we go. That never. I was going to make a comment that was probably not kosher, so I won't say it. Otherwise, that'll get us in trouble with the YouTube gods. Anyway.
Hey, by the way, I saw your review on Robbie's latest protein powder flavor. What's your thoughts?
It was interesting. Well, first off, have you ever had ruby chocolate before?
No. It's a name that I am not familiar with. So
yeah, because I mean, obviously it's in Europe, and I mean Apollon does such a shitty job with their proteins anyway. So I thought, what's up, Rob?
Sandy said something that it tastes like a bubble gum or something, right?
Yeah, she said it's like pink bubble gum. And so Robbie, Luke, we just got started a second and a half ago. Lukasz was saying, how's the ruby chocolate protein? He just finished seeing Santa and I's review of it. It's something, and I asked him, have you ever tried that before? Is it a thing in Poland? Because obviously it was started in Europe. And I even tried to do a search on Amazon or some of the local grocery stores around us. Nobody sells anything ruby chocolate. So, but overall, I like the flavor. I did it in my yogurt bowl last night because I mentioned in the review that I think this would taste good in my nightly yogurt bowl, and that's the last thing I eat in the evenings. And for the listeners at home that have not heard me talk about this before, it is 6 to 8 ounces of Greek yogurt, a scoop of protein powder. I put in some cinnamon, astragalus, lion's mane mushroom, shiitake mushroom, reishi mushroom, cordyceps mushroom, and some spirulina. So I need a really good tasting protein to cover up all of this other nasty botanicals that I'm putting in there. And even with all of that in there, the ruby chocolate, like the fruity flavor of the ruby chocolate, marries so well with everything and can mask it and complements the frozen mixed berries and frozen strawberries that I have in there. And it's awesome. It works really well on that application. So I like it in that combination with like the oatmeal, the oats, the other frozen fruits, the yogurt, and all of the other little mushrooms and spirulina and astragalus that I'm putting in there. I think it works really well on that side because I don't want a really dark, thick chocolate protein. I don't want something too sweet, but that balances well. The ruby chocolate balances well with the tang of the Greek yogurt and the mixture of all of the other fruits and mushrooms that are in there. So I like it in that application. That's something that works really well. I don't want the peanut butter cookie at night. I don't want chocolate or vanilla. I like a fruitier flavor. So there's a coconut ice cream protein that I'll use sometimes from 1UP that blends really well in there. The ruby chocolate works really well. The wild strawberry from Apollon works really well. So yeah, those are the ones I tend to gravitate towards more for that. But yeah, I like it. So yet again, it's another quality release from you guys, Robbie.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the idea was basically pitched to us by a very, very, very good friend, and we kind of like had also no idea what the fuck it is. But the thing is that it's all about. I mean, if you look at different flavors today, they pretty much they very, very, even the ones that are kind of like seem like they like out there, They really not. I mean, there are fruit cereal flavors. There are like different candy flavors. At the end of the day, everything revolves, and I keep coming back to this about chocolate and vanilla. Those are
Yeah.
like pretty much the leaders, and nobody comes close. I mean, that's just kind of like a done deal. Kind of like we talked about optimal nutrition. Nobody can touch them. Everybody else is like fucking fighting for a second place. So the same thing is with this. Nobody's trying to beat chocolate and vanilla, but I don't want to do what other brands do, having like fucking 53 different flavors. As I think from a business perspective, I don't think it doesn't do shit. And I think it's a huge expense. Maybe if the company is a multi-million billion-dollar company and they have money just to burn, then they can do it. I mean, we've been trying to do different products, different ingredients, different whatnot. But to fuck around with flavors, I just don't see a reason for it. We actually had this argument about the Hooligan right now. The Hooligan, the Hooligan 6 is performing better than we expected. It's just a fucking huge hit. And we have 3 flavors. And, we thought like, well, maybe we should like replace 1 flavor or 2 flavors and kind of keep going.
Yeah.
But the truth is, all 3 flavors are selling spectacular. It's Hooligan. It's just, what it does. There's no point, maybe adding a 4th flavor eventually for fun. Yeah. But the Ruby chocolate was like, when I looked it up, I was like, oh, holy shit, it's popular in Europe. It's very popular in UK. It's a cool chocolate that I've never heard about. Then a friend of mine told me that they sell it at Whole Foods. We tried it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm gonna lie if I'm gonna say, wow, that's the best chocolate I've ever had, because it's not. But I know also people. In fact, I heard some people like it, some people don't like it, just like everything in life. But I appreciate it. I thought it was actually pretty cool. I thought it was like a nice little dessert. We took it to the manufacturer. I actually bought Ruby chocolate, and I took it to the manufacturer. I was like, can you do this? They flavored it on a first try. It was pretty good, but it was a bit of a miss. Second try, they nailed it, and it came pretty accurate. So I was like, do we market it as white chocolate and raspberry? Well, it does remind you a little bit of that, but it's really not, because it's different. Does it remind you a little bit of a bubble gum? I have a friend of mine who lived in Israel, and there's a very, very popular Israeli chewing gum called Bazooka. It's a very, very popular brand in Israel, and we were like, shit, it does taste a little bit like Bazooka. It's very actually similar. So you can actually compare it to anything. So, I mean, Sandy is not exactly wrong. It does have a hint of bubblegum. You can definitely identify, especially with the American audience, that bubblegum is kind of big over here. If they're going to identify with that, which is not wrong. I mean, you can identify with whatever you want. There are similarities. But at the end, I like what Robert says. It's just a good tasting flavor. Is it something that I would drink on a daily basis personally? No. I'm still a big fan of chocolate vanilla, and I'm going to keep saying it. But is it something that I would like to drink here and there? Absolutely. It's a great tasting flavor. I would like to try what Robert said, try it with the yogurt or something like that. It probably tastes good. Yeah. I assume that it probably would taste good with cream of rice or oatmeal.
Definitely.
It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's just like, it's just, put it this way. If I didn't know any better, I would say like, okay, this tastes good. And that's pretty much it, without trying to compare it. What does it taste like? What does it remind me of? I mean, it's really unnecessary. At the end of the day, it's just a good fucking flavor. It's creamy. It makes us good with water. It's great.
Yeah, agreed. Contortion. I got your question. We're going to come back to it in a second, because this will be a fun topic of discussion. I want to get one more thing about Robbie So as far as the protein flavoring. And for the listeners, this is going to be solely relegated to Robbie's experience with his manufacturer. This doesn't apply universally to every sports nutrition or supplement company with their manufacturer and flavoring in the flavor houses. But Robbie, you mentioned that you tried the first batch of Ruby chocolate. You weren't nuts about it. It was okay, but not up to your standards. How does that go when you're working with your particular manufacturer for your protein? Do you say, we need more sweetness, I need more of this, or do you just say it's not working, you need to try this again? Do y'all get specific in what you want more of, or is it more of, hey, we need you guys to try something different because this is off?
It's a very, very complicated question. It's a fucking brilliant question, but it's very complicated and hard to answer. The reason is because if we take chocolate, right? Chocolate is chocolate. You're either going to like chocolate or you're not going to like chocolate. So
Correct.
That comes down to personal preference. And I can go around the gym and ask, like, do you like this chocolate or you don't like this chocolate? So say, I always go with majority rules. Even if I'm not the majority, I'm still going to go with the majority. If people say, you know what, this needs to be sweeter or darker or more milky or whatever, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say, like, overwhelmingly, this is what people want. Now, with ruby chocolate, if we use that as an example, well, that actually has to resemble something.
Yeah.
Because we actually saying that it's a flavor based on a very particular chocolate. So there has to be a similarity. So now you have two things. Number one, it has to resemble the chocolate. It won't be identical because it's identical. It's different texture and different products, but it still has to be similar in color, similar in taste. So when you take ruby chocolate, the chocolate itself, and you're drinking ruby chocolate protein, there has to be similarities where you're going to say, like, oh, this is, similar.
Yeah.
Now there is the other aspect. It can be similar, but it can taste like shit. It can be overly bitter. So like, okay, yeah, it resembles the chocolate, but it's bitter as fuck, or it's too sweet, or it's this. So it's the same process where everybody who is in office, and typically there is about 3 or 4 or 5 of us, we usually go, I'm trying it. Carolina will try it. Jose, who is obviously, he's a sales director, so he needs to try it. And somebody else will try it as well. So there's going to be a couple of people within the office. Then we take samples and we go outside. Whoever is at the gym, it doesn't matter. It has to be random. So whoever is working out at the gym, we go around serving people like, can you give us your opinion? What do you think?
Right.
We take all that together and we try to form a feedback. Overwhelmingly 90% people like it if they know what the flavor is and say, like, well, yeah, it definitely resonates. For example, the fruit cereal that we have in Isoblast, right? We wanted it to resemble Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops and stuff like that. Yeah. So when people take it, they're like, "Oh shit, it tastes like Fruit Loops." You got it.
Oh yeah.
So, taking all that into account, now I can go back to the manufacturer and say, like, okay, you know what? It tastes similar, but it's bitter. It tastes similar, but it toned down the sweetness a little bit. People said it is too sweet. It's not similar. It doesn't even resemble the flavor at all. So you have to make changes, especially since I gave you a chocolate bar. You can test it yourself and see for yourself that it's not really. So, those are the factors that you take into account until you get it as close as possible where you have another round and everybody likes it. For most part, we've been lucky with our manufacturing where usually it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 trials and they pretty much nail it. But sometimes it gets complicated. Like, for example, Enigma Coconut Lime. That was a bitch. That was a fucking bitch because Chainsaw Coconut Lime was so fucking popular.
It's awesome. It's a great flavor.
Just people loved it so much. And it didn't really taste like Chainsaw, like coconut lime. It just tasted so freaking good.
Yeah.
It was done by the same manufacturer, but now the ingredients are different. So we're like, that flavor is so popular, it tastes like that.
Yeah.
They send you a batch and it doesn't. They send you another batch and it doesn't. Too much coconut, too bitter, too this, too that, or it's not. And we're like, listen, guys, you making Chainsaw Coconut Lime. Make it taste as close as possible to that because people will compare and they go like, well, they try to be defensive and they say, yeah, but it's different ingredients, it's different product. It can't taste the same. I understand. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's your name on that product. They've got to deliver what you expect.
So coconut lime, I'll be honest with you, I think we had maybe 10 or 12 different runs. And at one point we almost gave up and said, guys, forget about it. We're not even going to release it. Well, finally they got it and, nailed it. But, until you get it right, you can be a little bit more lenient with, Lukasz, I'm pretty sure, as a user and somebody who's experienced, he's not going to give a fuck about how pre-workout tastes. But he will give a shit how intra-workout tastes, how protein tastes as a consumer, but also as somebody who's selling supplements. His customers are not going to buy if it doesn't taste good. So it's a process, but it has to be done.
Very well put. Is there ever a desire, has it ever crossed your mind to manufacture your own products?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
100%, yeah. I've been talking about it for the past year or so, and I won't deny it. Still, I'm even checking some of the machine for capsules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I don't know shit about it, just like I didn't know shit about supplements a couple of years ago. I think it's a process. I'm willing to entertain the idea. I'm looking into how much it costs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm the type of person that I like to take my time. And I believe when you rush something, you tend to overlook certain aspects and you might get burned. So as of right now, is it something that I'm desperate to do? It's a must at all costs? No. Or is it something that I'm open, I'm kind of actively, passively looking into? Definitely.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder at what point you grow as a company, do you start thinking, maybe we should start do this? And obviously you have great relationships with your manufacturers, but at some point you realize I could save a little bit and, pass these savings on to the consumer or maximize my profit margin further. I mean, obviously it's a business after all, so you want to make money to a certain extent. That's the whole reason for starting a business. You have the consumer's best interests at heart. Most companies do. I'll put that caveat in there. At the same time, you're also starting because you want to provide a living for you and your family and those close to you and all of that stuff. So I wonder if you're always trying to maximize and optimize your business structure, at what point, where's that tipping point of going, okay, let's jump into the manufacturing realm and start handling it, or at least maybe not necessarily all of it first, because doing proteins and RTDs and that kind of stuff is a massive undertaking comparing to just doing capsules by themselves. So it's always interesting.
Machines are not that expensive. Of course, they're expensive, and you need one or two people to operate them. Yeah. When it comes to blend powders and stuff like that, I mean, the amount of space that they take, people that it takes, effort that it takes, obviously, it's a massive investment. It's a massive. I mean, obviously the return on your investment is there because number one, you're going to manufacture your own products, so you're going to save money, but you can also squeeze some other companies to manufacture for. So that also opens kind of the door to possibilities. But we kind of, we had a meeting last night, me, Kay, and Marina, and we were talking about, right now, I talked to you yesterday also about it, and you already know how big we're planning to do the seminar. I let you on the secrets.
Yep.
I mean, that takes planning. That takes a lot of effort. Yeah. The company is still a very, very small company. And you have me and Kay basically actively running the company. Of course, we have a couple of people helping us, but we cannot afford having thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars spent on staff and whatnot. And plus, it's not only about staff, it's also about people that care. Like, another example, Lukasz actually gave me a very solid, brilliant idea a couple of days ago. And Lukasz is not and never was on Apollon's payroll. This is a friend who's been just helping out, and and I'm grateful that I have friends who are willing to help out and actually genuinely care about the brand.
Yeah.
But the truth is that multitasking and doing so many things at the same time, it's just humanly impossible. I actually went off on one friend yesterday who was texting me just random bullshit nonstop for about 2-3 hours, and I was in the middle of a meeting, and at the same time I was communicating on the phone with a couple of people, and this bullshit was coming nonstop, and I was trying to be nice, and at one point or another I was like, you know what, just fuck off. I can't do this because this is just way too much. I don't have the time for it. Yeah. So it's very, very hard, to manufacturing will take a lot of money, a lot of work. And right now we're trying to get a new warehouse and Apollon offices going, which takes a lot of our time. We're still releasing, just like I promised, a new product on a monthly basis and new flavors. We're actually doing the same as we did in 21, if not better. There travel. I'm going away again next week. There's just so much involved, and just to do it on such a large, it's not possible. I guess it's not possible. I mean, it is possible. It is possible, but at the same time, if you're going to spread yourself thin so much, where you're going to end up, you can't. You have to concentrate and do you do something good and focusing on one task in hand, rather than spreading yourself thin and doing multitasking. And then you just cannot get it right because you're doing so much and cannot give yourself 100%.
Good. All right. That works. Hi, Maria. Hi, Simon. Creamy, I see your question. We're going to get to it. We've Contortion's been waiting in line patiently. We're going to tackle this one first, and then we'll get to the rest of the comments and questions, and keep them going, everybody. We appreciate it. Also, make sure to kick the like button, judo smash it, judo chop it, karate chop it, whatever you want to do to the like button. Just make sure you click it. Contortion. Is there a reason Overtime V3 does not have any Huperzine-A? It seems to be a popular ingredient in a lot of nootropic formulas.
Fair question. If you take every single nootropic ingredient and try to put it in one product, your product is not going to be affordable, plain and simple. It's just not realistic. Is Huperzine a good product ingredient? Yes, it is. Although it comes with certain conditions, which Robert actually described many times, where if you take too much of it, and considering it is, like you said, in many products, not just nootropics, but also pre-workout. Some people use it in the fat burner and whatnot. So overlapping a certain dosage, which again, Robert can discuss probably better than I can, it can create a certain level of, just like T-Cream, too much of it is not really that good. There is that sweet spot. Also, Overtime was supposed to be this aggressive, strong, powerful, energy, long-lasting, energy-based, euphoric nootropic. It's way more than just a nootropic product. But if you take, for example, our Universal Soldier, it's in there, but it lacks the aggressiveness and the euphoria of Overtime. So as much as we want to, it is humanly, financially, and just reasonably impossible to get all the ingredients into one product. However, just as we can say Huperzine is not in Overtime, we can take a lot of products and say like, oh, well, how come you don't have the ingredient that Overtime has? Because Overtime is packed with so many ingredients that other nootropic formulas are lacking. So I like Huperzine. It's a great ingredient. I honestly don't think, and maybe Robert can correct me, I don't think, and I'm not being defensive either, but I don't think that Huperzine would contribute much to Overtime as a product and what it intends to do. I think that because it's so powerful from that energy standpoint, and it's so powerful from that euphoria and nootropic kind of standpoint as well, where you're almost like on Adderall and kind of high, I don't think that Huperzine would make such huge difference. Yet in Universal Soldier, I'm pretty sure its presence is definitely felt pretty well. So, just Assassin and Hooligan, Assassin lacks some of the elements that Hooligan has, and Hooligan, lacks some of the elements that Assassin has, and Lionheart. But if we would use all the identical ingredients or similar dosages, then what's the point of having 2, 3, or 4 different products in the same category? They have to be different. But again, Robert can answer the Huperzine question since he also helped me formulate Overtime.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great question, and good explanation too as well, Rob, because there's a couple of different venues or avenues from which we can attack this question. When you and I first started discussing this product, you said, hey, because Overtime, it's kind of evolved from the very first discussion we had, because the first text message, I wish I still had it saved in my phone. I'm pretty sure I don't. But it was, hey, we're getting requests to have kind of like an all day, all night, like super long lasting energy formula where if people want to take it with a late workout and it keeps them going through like a night of going out on the town and partying, instead of crushing a Bang, Red Bull or something like that, they can take this and their ass will go from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. all night long. So that's the paradigm from which we started the initial formula of Overtime V1. And then we thought, okay, let's start massaging it. Let's make sure we have enough energy, but we can't just put pure caffeine in this, because you just got caffeine. You're going to feel great for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then you're going to fall off a cliff. So then we said, all right, well, we're going to put some teacrine in there, but we also need to put some dopamine precursors in there and some beta-phenethylamine and a readrensis, because that's going to give that euphoria, that motivation, that excitement. But at the same time, when you start taxing more of those neurotransmitters, we put Nupept in there too, because that's also going to ramp up, mental energy, focus, excitement. You've also got to replenish those precursors at the same time. So that's why we have the tyrosine in there. That's why we have the alpha GPC. And then we also put in rhodiola. Rhodiola is an adaptogen that's going to help kind of modulate that energy level to where if you're feeling overamped up, it's going to kind of bring you back. If you're feeling under, it's going to raise you up. And it also helps ablate some of those feelings of mental fatigue that you're going to get if you're sleep deprived. It also acts as a very mild acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, which is exactly what Huperzine is. So instead of putting, a whopping dose of Huperzine, which is both stronger than rhodiola from that mechanistic standpoint, as well as more expensive, we kind of, we're able to skin the cat a different direction. We put the rhodiola in there for its mood benefits, its stress reduction, its energy benefits, but also it helps, slightly prolong the actions of acetylcholine in the body by moderately or modestly inhibiting acetylcholinesterase. That's why we didn't put Huperzine in there from the initial foray, and obviously Overtime's on the third iteration now, but that's kind of been the mindset from the initial start of the formula to where we are today with it. And like Robbie said, we've got a full 200 microgram dose in Universal Soldier. So if you really crave in Huperzine, it's in there. It's not an ingredient, in my opinion, that you should take every day unless you are somebody that is experiencing cognitive impairment, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia. That's the purpose for which this ingredient was researched. It's not, I'm going gaming and I'm just supposed to use this every day. I'm going gaming. That's not the thing. It's not something the average individual should take every day, in my opinion. That's my opinion here. You go talk to a neurosurgeon, somebody else, maybe they have a different opinion. My opinion, if you're a healthy 18 to 35-year-old, 18 to 45-year-old, you have no cognitive impairment, you're doing all the other things right, you shouldn't be taking Huperzine every day. It's got a very long half-life. Especially when you take higher doses of it, I don't even think an average individual should verge over 300 micrograms in a certain day. I know there are certain pre-workouts out there that go 300, 400, 500 micrograms in a dose. I don't like that at all for the average healthy individual. Once in a blue moon, if you got a shit ton of work to do, we got deadlines, your life sucks, you're stressed, you're sleep deprived from having a newborn, you got to do something to get over that hump. Sure, once in a blue moon is fine. But something like Robbie mentioned, Huperzine is thrown into pre-workouts, fat burners. It's in a couple of sleep aids. It's in energy drinks. It's in non-stim nootropics. It's all of energy shots. It's all over the place. You take too much of it, you run two different risks. It starts building up in your system. You get a massive overload of acetylcholine in your body. You get sent into like this brain fog. You start kind of getting that synesthesia where you start hearing colors and seeing sounds, weird kind of things like that. You get headaches, you get brain fog. And this is speaking from personal experience as well as other people I've talked to, where you take too much Huperzine. It builds up in your system. It never gets a chance to clear out. And also you're increasing your tolerance and habituation to it, to where you're reducing the effectiveness of the ingredient and the overall benefits of acetylcholine or acetylcholinesterase inhibitors for an average healthy individual. So that's a whole lot of rambling, but that's kind of everything in a nutshell of why it's not in Overtime. You can find it in other ingredients. You can find it in there, but Overtime's initial purpose was not to be this purely nootropic ingredient. It could be a productivity, could be a nootropic, could be an energy supplement, could even be a non-pump or just a stimulant-packed, euphoria-inducing pre-workout that you want to do. It could be a fat burner, technically, because you take enough stimulants, you don't really have an appetite. So that's kind of everything there. If you got any other questions, Contortion, please let me know and I can expound.
Just to kind of like to add to it, and I guess maybe a direct question to both of you, to you, Lukasz is big on nootropics. He loves them and he understands them as well. He uses them. Speaking of Huperzine, I totally agree, of course, with everything you said. And to be honest with you, we just reformulated overtime, and the V4 is coming out, I believe, within like next 4 or 6 weeks. And it's just beautiful. But and no, Huperzine is not in it. But my question regarding Huperzine, since you mentioned so many times, both based on science and based on personal experience, that you would not advise using Huperzine on a daily basis or too much of it. My question is, say, for example, you and Lukasz, you're using products that do not contain Huperzine, just for argument's sake, using overtime sometimes, or you're using pre-workouts that don't have Huperzine. It's not part of your daily regimen for most part.
No.
How would you feel taking it, or would you take it, or would you purchase it, or do you purchase it as a standalone product?
Yeah, I think it's worth that. I think there's enough decent studies from both the mechanistic standpoint and the human studies to where if you're looking for that kind of extra edge, or if you're somebody that is getting older and you're starting to worry about, cognitive impairment, cognitive decline, I think it's worthwhile because they can sell it. I think they have it in 100 microgram capsules. I think some brands might even offer it in 50 microgram capsules. Like SNS has a bulk Huperzine-A product. They used to. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. And there's enough of other reputable brands. Nootropics Depot has got one. But yeah, I think it's a worthwhile ingredient for those every now and then occasions, or if you're somebody that is starting to noticeably witness or experience cognitive decline.
So you wouldn't advise it, say, for somebody younger?
Not as an everyday kind of thing. A once in a while, once or twice a week, maybe on non-consecutive days, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But Lukasz, how do you feel about Huperzine?
Just like with everything, I think that I like the approach when a brand is going a bit different route and they're not trying to copy everyone else. What I mean by that is, we've noticed many times that when someone releases a product that has similar ingredients, and after this product, you can see like a tons of releases that are pretty much similar, like copy paste, type of a thing. And I don't like this kind of approach. And honestly, I like when the brand is evolving and is trying to do not like a kitchen sink approach. And I like when a brand is trying to go a bit different route and try to offer a customer a bit different experience. What I mean by that is sometimes, for example, in version 1, they can put a Huperzine-A one, while in let's say version V2 or V3 they can replace this ingredient with something else, just to present a bit different approach to the customer. Personally, I like the Huperzine-A. I used it standalone, and I used it also in combination with other nootropics, but I wouldn't mind using it on a consistent basis. I prefer a bit different, different stuff. I'm a huge fan of mushrooms, so that is something that I couldn't replace, or I couldn't live without my mushrooms. So yeah, that's something that I'm passionate about, and I would prefer using them instead of Huperzine-A. So that's my thing. But if someone is wanting to get in this nootropic experience, I wouldn't go straight away to Huperzine-A. I would just start with something else, such as CDP choline or alpha GPC, those kinds of things. Start small, or maybe lion's mane even. That would be a good approach. But we've noticed through all this year that as you said, the brands are overlapping Huperzine-A on many products, and you can also see this wars as far as the dosage of the Huperzine-A. If I'm pretty accurate with that. Jay Cutler is using a huge ton of Huperzine-A in his products. Yeah, that's just like a crazy amount. So yeah, I just would be smart about it, and I like what's Apollon been doing, and yeah. But if you're a fan of Huperzine-A, you can always like buy a Universal Soldier. Oh, and by the way, you can use a fat discount, 20%.
Code Final Scoop at ApollonNutrition.com for the big fat.
Oh yeah.
Rhodiola, mild acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, as is Bacopa. That's why I really like Rhodiola and Bacignize or Synapsa, Bacopa monieri as well. It's also got some fun properties there. Also, if you want to see, there is some research in humans on Huperzine in a pre-workout context. The full breakdown of that study, supplementengineer.com or the Supplement Engineer Patreon. Shameless plug. Links down below. Creamy. Rob, Apollon's protein is hands down the best on the market.
Thank you.
Side note, Cialis with Assassin has been my go-to recently. Not every day, but once a week for my upper body day. The pumps and energy are crazy. It's good to see you back, Creamy. We haven't seen you in a while, man.
You know what? I actually, I want to try that combination, to be honest with you. Absolutely no scientific reasons or anything like that. None of that. I just want to try it because this is not the first time that I hear something like that. And I just want to see, sometimes like certain combinations yield certain results.
Yeah.
I really want to try it. My actually question is, how much Cialis did you use? Because I know 5, 10, and 20 milligram. So I'm just curious because 20 milligram I think would be pretty powerful. But I'm just pure curiosity. But and how do you feel with what does it add with? What does it help with? Because like Assassin on its own, and once you add Cialis, what do you see is the major difference, like combining the two together? So actually, I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from a pump standpoint, it's going to be pretty outstanding. It's a PDE5 inhibitor. It's going to massively increase blood flow to all regions of the body.
Everywhere.
So, yeah. I've never tried it personally, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Simon says, guys, have you seen KLOUT Ultimate Pump Cap?
Nope.
Negative Ghost Rider. What is KLOUT Ultimate Pump Cap?
Pull it up.
Let's see what we got. KLOUT Power. Okay. All right, give me 1 second. Nope. $32.99. KLOUT Ultimate Pump Cap. Wow. Okay.
Hold on.
This is can you guys see this?
Yeah.
You see what an embarrassment this. I'm sorry if the owners of KLOUT supplements are watching this right now, but this is deplorable.
You know what? I don't comment.
This doesn't even make sense. So the serving size is 6 capsules. Each capsule can hold 750 milligrams of powder. I've got to believe this is either a massive misprint on the label or you're just getting a whole bunch of starch and gelatin inside the capsules and cellulose.
So that's a dose per capsule or per 6 capsules?
Amount per cap. I mean, this is dog shit. So you're getting 48 milligrams of beta-alanine, 48 milligrams of pine bark, 48 milligrams of beetroot, 24 milligrams of DHEA. I mean, this is shit. This is shit.
I actually think shit would be a compliment.
Good God. And you get, I mean, it's basically 3 grams of arginine is what you're getting.
You see, that's the problem. Like, you know, when people are saying that we are sometimes a little bit harsh on certain things, but if we are asked to comment on a formula, I mean, what do brands expect us to say? I mean, this is, I honestly, I don't think my English is good enough because I don't know how to fucking even describe this.
I'm happy I'm Polish.
Fuck. This is awful. Please don't, anybody listening to this, if you value your money, please don't waste your money on this.
How much this should cost?
$32?
Fuck me.
Yeah, $32. It's sold out. I don't know how the hell that's possible.
Oh,
I mean, this is, unless they have spiked this with Cialis or Viagra, this is a dog shit product.
This, you know what, I see Streetar put that breaks the record for the lowest dosages. I don't even think that it qualifies as the lowest dosages because I don't think it qualifies as anything. I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm curious to see how does the brand owner or whoever is responsible for this go to the manufacturer and, you know, provides this formula. I would like to see the manufacturer's face when he's giving this. The reviews are probably fake, but that's not even the issue. And even if they're good reviews, also bad reviews, it doesn't really matter.
Tastes great. Wait.
Yeah, tastes great.
Oh, wait, that's regarding the Focus pre-workout. Okay.
Yeah.
These capsules contain one of the sickest pumps I've ever.
Yeah, well, that's fake. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But, you know, I mean,
Passed out.
you know, I mean, it's just, you feel like I can't find words because do you criticize it on the dosages or do you criticize it on fake reviews or do you criticize it, you know, as a brand? I mean, there is no criticism necessary because this just, I don't even think it's possible to discuss a product like this.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, there's nothing that comes to mind. I mean, if we start insulting the brand and, you know, the product, I mean, what is
listen, even with the fattest discount on the planet, this shit wouldn't fly.
I wish Gerhard and Tommy were still running supplement reviews because they used to expose shitty things like this. Bogus review sites and paid for reviews and stuff like that. I mean, this is terrible. This is so awful.
Yeah, no, fuck this. It's not even worth discussion.
No.
I see Remy answered 5 milligram of Cialis. That makes total sense. Like I said, you know what? I want to try this. I'm not even kidding. I want to try this because I just want to see what the difference is because, you know, and I believe what he says. I mean, it probably does help. It would make sense that it does help. You know, enhances the feeling of assassin and whatnot. But I would definitely try it out, and I will.
I'll give it a shot too.
Yeah.
Well, you probably got access to the special like Polish grade Cialis, man. So that's probably like another layer from our American stuff.
Yeah, I got a guy here.
You got a guy. That's what Sandy and I were talking the other day, and this is before the stuff that was going on between Russia and Ukraine, and you know, I don't want us to delve into that, but Sandy said, "Hey, would you ever feel comfortable going to China? Would you ever feel comfortable going to Russia? Would you ever go there?" I said, "Yes, I would." The caveat: only if I've got like Rush with like Robbie, Carolina, and Alina and Marina on my back. That's the only way I'm going to like the Eastern Bloc is if I've got one of you guys with me. So if I got that, I'm okay. If I'm going by myself, we're not doing that. But that was at another time. That was at another time. Creamy. Hey, can you guys cover Dethroner from EkkoVision? Is this an X of a too much pre? Okay. Okay, let's see if this works. Pre-order EkkoVision Formula 2.1, second batch. All right. What do we have here, gents? We got 500 of sodium. That's an impressive size of sodium. 4 grams of glycerol, 1,500 nitroxygen, 1,000 of tyrosine, 300 of alpha-GPC, 250 caffeine, 200 theobromine, 200 xynamate, 150 LF-ATP, 150 S7, 50 milligrams synactive. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm not impressed, but I can't really say anything negative either. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, too much. I don't see anything too much, to be honest. I mean,
don't you think this shit will clump like
the clump? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the clumping may be too much. I mean, we've done once 5 grams in bare knuckle, and that was a fucking bitch.
Maybe that's why they called it second batch, because the first one clumped like a rock.
You know, S7 I'm gonna disregard. Xynamite I'm not super impressed with. You know, I mean, it's a trademark that I think was slightly overhyped. The caffeine content is moderate. The alpha GPC, I guess, you know, okay. Tyrosine, I guess, is okay. Nitroxygen is clinical sort of dose.
Yeah.
I don't see anything impressive or too much, except
Robert, can you scroll it up a bit? Can you scroll it up a bit? Because I want to see how they marketed this product. Do they call it like is a full-time pre-workout, or is it what do they say?
It just says new gen pre-workout on the front. It's not it doesn't look like it's overselling anything, but I think I just found an issue right here. Okay, so it says Hydro Prime right here on the side of the label, but down here they've got Glycer Pump. Hydro Prime is made by NNB. Glycer Pump is made by Pinnacle Ingredients. Formerly Glycer Size.
Yeah, that's a major fuck up.
But there's also a change here too. They have estrogen in this ingredient profile. There's no estrogen here.
Maybe that's why this is the first version and the tops are the second.
It's either maybe they didn't update the website. That's a possibility. Because if not, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's good. The clumping is going to be an issue with the Hydro Prime, regardless of what all these brands are saying about how they've restabilized their glycerol and all this stuff. I'm still not a believer in just glycerol in and of itself, unless you're taking a massive dose of it. It's going to clump.
Hey, there's a massive dose of S7, 150 milligrams.
Yep,
that there is. I mean, the polyphenols are great. That's fine. That will increase the bioavailability and the half-life of the nitric oxide. I wouldn't put that as the sole pump ingredient, as a supporting agent, because you got the nitroxygen, which is great. That's the full dose. It's been shown to be as good as 6 grams of citrulline malate, 6 to 8 grams of citrulline malate. I like the ingredient. I would probably remove the alpha GPC and put in more tyrosine, just because I like tyrosine more in my pre-workouts and alpha GPC if push comes to shove. Xynamite, I thought the dose needed to be higher for Xynamite.
This is one of those pre-workouts that it's not great, but it's not awful either. It's okay.
I'm not trying to plug anything. I'm actually trying to look up the dosage used in the studies.
Plug.
Yeah, 500 milligrams dynamite.
How much do they have?
200.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's a pre-workout you will feel. You have 250 milligram of caffeine. You have some theobromine, so you're going to feel okay. The pump from nitrogen is going to be pretty decent. I mean, it's okay pre-workout. I mean, the clumping might be a serious issue, and the NNB thing is kind of confusing. But other than that, I mean, it's okay.
140 to 420 milligrams of dynamite.
I just don't know in which crowd they are aiming for.
I think this is more of a mild energy. I think they aiming a little bit for pump, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, considering how much glycerol they put and and nitrogen, seems like they're aiming a little bit more for pump.
Yeah, but do you think it's gonna be for intermediates, advanced, or like a beginner type of
target? If they target advanced, then this definitely doesn't deliver. If they target intermediate, like what do they call it, daily driver or whatever the fuck it is, then probably this is okay. I mean, it's not a bad product. It's just, and they like Robert said, they're not trying to oversell it. There seems to be a mistake on the label, unless you're right, and it's just the first one and the second one kind of mixed that up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't understand the question, to be honest. Like, is this an X of too much? Because I expected to see 20,000 milligram of citrulline or 100 or 1,000 milligram of caffeine or something too much. And other than glycer pump or glycerol, I don't see anything too much. The question is a little bit confusing because I don't see too much of anything. Like average.
Yeah, maybe is this an X of a too much pre-workout? Is this kind of like the offshoot? Somebody made a different version of one that was too expensive to make, and they've removed a couple of things.
Did you see the price? What is the price? Maybe the price is too much.
$57.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know in which step of a crowd they're aiming for. That's why. That was my question, because for like.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't notice the price. Yeah, it's too much for sure.
Yeah, because for $50 you can have like a really hard hitter. You know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, if I could guess, this is about $39.95 kind of a product.
Yeah, because in my opinion, if the price would be like around $30 for this kind of product,
yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
No, you're right.
30.
Yeah. You're right.
100%. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of Whacked 3D joining us, Mr. Shane Smith.
Yeah.
What's up, Shane? How are you?
I like the name. I like it.
You like Whacked 3D?
I do. It's not bad.
Yeah. How's everything in sunny old England?
Yeah, it's not bad. We were out of dinner, and I don't know what it is. If it's something we do specifically, but like whenever we order dessert, it takes like 30 fucking minutes to get there. I don't order. Nikki doesn't order something, but Ava will order something, and like I don't know if they go and milk the cow for the ice cream or some shit, but every time we've ordered dessert here in the UK, it takes like 30-40 minutes. And all it was tonight was this scoop of ice cream with sprinkles. Go to room.
They didn't have to bake the sticky toffee pudding or anything like that?
No, it was just a little. And I was like, and I was like, are we just forgettable? Is that what it is? I don't understand. Am I missing something?
They figured you're from New Zealand. You're forgiving. You're a nice guy, easygoing. They thought it's fine.
One of the other places we went to, we got Ava a banana split, and then like 20 minutes later, we're like, oh, hey, is it coming? And she's like, oh, let me check. And then they come back like, we're out of bananas. I'm like, do you think this is something you fucking should have told me, like, when I ordered it?
Yeah.
It seems like a pretty key ingredient in banana split, right? The banana.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can Ava read the menu?
No, dude.
Well, then you just tell her if she wants dessert, you say, they don't have dessert here, hon. Sorry.
Nah, like she seems to be picking up on some. Like we went into a restaurant and then we took. They were too full. They said the wait was like 30-40 minutes, and then on the way out, Ava wasn't part of the conversation. She said, "Oh, they didn't have any room for us." I'm like, how do you figure that one out? How do you know we aren't just waiting or whatever? Anyway, I think she's a little more intuitive than I give her credit, but yeah.
There you go. Okay. Sridhar. When I see these kind of reviews for these dosages, I either feel it's fake or maybe it has something extra in it that's not listed. 1,000% correct.
Is there something I missed? What are we talking about?
Yes. While you were having your ice cream.
It's something you missed and something you should be happy you missed.
Yeah, while you were having your ice cream, I'll pull this up for you. Have you tried the KLOUT Power Pump Caps?
Please don't.
What?
Just for you. Look at that.
Oh, dude, I shared this. Do you know the story on this one?
And what did you wrote? That is the best thing that you ever saw on your entire fucking life?
You dicks didn't even see it. So this is a weird story because if you go to their site, they have they say there has NO3 nitrates in it, right?
No.
I don't know if the description's still on
no
there.
nitrate.
No, but
There's no nitrate.
If it, yeah, hear me out. If you go to the website, now they've changed it all since then. So originally, when I wrote that story, they had a description that said that there were nitrates in there. And I was like, oh, this fax panel must be a placeholder. So I hit him up and I said, hey man, what's up? Like, why have you got like a weird fax panel on the site? And he told me that, no, that's a real one. And I was like, but why does it say, 3 nitrates? And so apparently, and understand this if you can. And this was, I said to him, I said, you understand this is very strange because I've never heard of this in my life. And I've been in the supplement industry doing stack for like 12 years. So their ambassadors or their influencers or whatever wanted a pump product. I don't know how they did it. They did some sort of like crowdsourcing thing, like what they wanted. Yeah. And they apparently wanted a $30 pump pre-workout. And so they made a small batch or a batch of this. Yeah. And this was apparently the $30 pump pre-workout that they wanted. And that this is going to be very quickly replaced by a completely different version, more in line with what we've seen from KLOUT. And I believe that the NO3 nitrates might be a part of that. So I don't know why you would lead with this, but he was saying that his insiders wanted this, and that they did a small run, and it's going to be replaced. And I said to them, I said, you do realize this is like very strange, like not even very, just extremely strange. I've never seen someone come out with a lower formula for a cheaper price point, then turn it into an advanced product and be like, now it's going to be sold at a premium. Usually you would name them something different. You would come out with a low level pump and then a high pump. But yeah, I obviously have yet to see the advanced pump pre. This is still the only one I've seen. But again, the NO3 nitrates was listed in the description previously, which I'm assuming is what might, from my understanding, is what's going to be a part of the other version. But yeah, I don't really know what like the reason behind that. Oh, Robert, did you do this? I thought I saw some signatures in there. I thought it was.
I will put my camera back on for this.
You sure?
Do not know the gentleman behind KLOUT. Curious to see. I mean, okay. Technically, there is one single study showing that L-citrulline is effective at 2.4 grams. Okay, betaine is fully dosed at 2.5 grams.
They went above and beyond here. I don't know if you're reading this, but this is 2.5.
It does. Alpha GPC at 50%, so you're getting 150 milligrams of alpha GPC. I believe that is below the human studied dose. Neurofactor is dosed appropriately. L-tyrosine is not. Some of their ingredients are certainly fully dosed. Yikes.
This was the weird thing, because if you have seen they did another version of the pre-workout, and it was I probably got it on Stack, to be honest, and it's like not this. Yeah, here you go. I'll send this through. Put it in the private chat. Check this out.
Is it that was Mamba?
Was it their Karma pre-workout? Yeah, click the little private chat thing.
Okay, let me stop sharing my screen for a second.
Check that out.
Wow.
Okay, I will share this.
Yeah, see, I'm a little, I'm not sure, because this is night and day different, and this is from December of last year. This is not old. This is much better than what that other one is.
It's
Same
a step
product,
up. Yeah. The citrulline is much better dosed.
Yeah. That's what I'm...
Beta-alanine. Taurine is woefully underdosed, as is N-acetyl L-tyrosine and agmatine. The juniper berry's not doing anything. That's a Redcon maneuver.
Shane, where is this company from? Shane,
Land of the Free.
Where is this company from?
Land of the Free. It's American, as far as I know.
Fuck, in Europe we produce better products.
I actually had this problem the other day. Remember that one I showed you last week? The Yeti one?
Yeah.
So I measured, because it's got 500 milligrams of caffeine in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always measure on the decimal scale or the diamond scale, whatever you want to call it, just because, you want to make sure.
Right.
So, and I put this on my stories, and a lot of people replied, and they were like, holy shit. So I measured their level scoop was 25% more than what the serving size was.
Damn.
So a level scoop would have given me 625 milligrams of caffeine, not the 500 that I was thinking I was getting.
That could be a little dangerous. I mean,
someone messaged me and they said, holy shit, dude. He's like, I've been taking this and I've been a little more generous than a level scoop. And I was like, that's the thing though. Like I always use the scale to measure, because you could, like if you were doing a rounded scoop on that I would think would be in the realm of 700 milligrams of caffeine, maybe 750. But you will take it and you're saying, holy shit, this hits way harder than 500. Yeah, that's because it's probably something close to 700.
Yes.
But I didn't. That's why I always measure just to double check. I think it ended up, obviously, had to go a little bit lower on the scoop just to get the 500. But yeah, because I think the serving size was 12 and it measured out at 15 point something, maybe 15.
Yeah, special announcement to all the listeners out there. Please weigh your pre-workouts.
Yeah. Protein, I don't really care. Aminos, I don't care.
Every time. Just...
I mean, the benefits are like, there's a multitude of benefits, because again, it could hit harder. You could get more of what you could get more and you don't want more. You could get less and you don't want less. You could also get to the end of your tub and be like, holy shit, I only did 15 workouts on this. And I thought I was going to get 20. I mean, you just got to, and obviously not everybody's scoop is going to work out to exactly level anyway, but you want to at least know. And it's, I mean, what, those diamond scales cost like $10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll save you that. What it would take would be like 5 poorly balanced pre-workouts, and you could save yourself some money.
Yeah.
Robbie, I'm going to start putting this on the Apollon product pages right there. Okay.
No, but see, there's a plural there, so there's a couple people, but to their credit, they didn't necessarily say it was sport or health. industry experts, did they?
No.
These might be experts in the field of I don't know, beauty, feminine products. I don't know. This doesn't necessarily.
Hey, I'm not an expert, but I'm a lab rat. So yeah, you can use this one.
Okay, we'll go to Google Images and Dethroner EkkoVision. Okay.
Dethroner. I like that name.
Dethroner, just rather deflower. Get it?
You've been hanging out with those 70-year-old dudes too long, bro.
Hey man, I've still got their dog here too.
Wait, what? What do you mean their dog? Why do you have the what?
They live right down the street for us, so I spent some time at their house. I house sit their dog, and I've got Oliver here with me right now.
What are they like? They go to their beach house or something. Well, why
They're
don't
in
you just...
they're in Scotland right now. You should go pay them a visit.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Actually,
Wait, so you're letting that you watching their dog? Weird. I don't want to see the dog. Don't show me the dog.
Look,
don't
there's
show
the
me the
dog.
old people's.
See?
Is
There's
it
Oliver.
a young dog?
He is 7, and he's passed out right now.
I have no idea what the fuck that is. I'm not a dog person.
King Charles Cavalier.
Wait, is that old? Wait, so that's old.
I don't know what it is, but he's awesome. He's a good dog. He's a good dog.
Yeah. Thanks for that, old man.
Bite me.
Fucking doggy sit, babysit, whatever the hell it is. Oh man, that is a very cool label. I don't know who that guy is, but kudos for putting his face on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like Lionheart. Same thing, right? It's like Robic on Lionheart. You got this guy on whoever this guy is.
Bobby Ducote?
What is the what are we looking at here? What is this?
I don't know. It's something creamy asked.
Can you bring up that? Wait, is this real? No, this is.
It can be real. I hope it's not real.
This is why I don't go on TikTok.
I've been on TikTok sometimes, but I have not seen this. I don't understand what am I looking at here?
Yeah.
Was that the formula that he?
I'm so confused.
Is that the formula there? The third image from the left? What is that? Is this it?
Yeah, it has cell flow 6 at 300 milligrams, but cell flow is
Spelled
misspelled.
wrong. Yeah.
Vasodrive AP at a 1 gram.
No, to be fair, he spelled cell flow correctly because we're following the English language. Flow it's got a W in it.
I'm not going to disagree with Matt Nickerson. If he spells it FLO.
We need to send Matt Nickerson and tell him, look, dude, this guy's he's giving you the right spelling. You need to put a W in there.
I don't believe this formula actually exists. This might be a pipe dream.
150 of Synactive?
Oh, yeah. 100 Nerf Acta, 300 an extra, 300 Rodeo Prime, 300 of that. A gram of Vasodrive AP. That would be this pre-workout would be $150 for the consumer. There's no way this is at any reasonable affordable.
You don't know. He might be doing it for the people and just taking no profits. So
sure.
Just saying.
Yeah. God grief.
This isn't real, is it?
This can't be.
This looks like something that they might have been like, look, we might be able to put this together. I do like the name though. Dethroner. It does mean that there's a really good pre-workout out there that they know of. At least that's kind of what I get from the name.
See, look how happy he is.
Yeah, because he probably just spent $100 on this. I don't think it doesn't look real.
Robic, you officially got dethroned.
Yeah, I said to him.
My dad, it's an honor.
Well, it comes out August 1st. Shit, that's actually...
There's no way he's going to be able to sell that and make a profit at $65. Not possible.
That's a lot of Synactive.
I mean, yeah, but Synactive is 50 to 100 milligrams anyway.
Yeah, I know what it is.
But I mean, 150 is Synactive. I'm looking at the 1,000 milligrams of Vasodrive AP. Vasodrive is in that 508 in bloody hell, and a couple of other pre-workout formats. Most places put it in at 254 because it's so goddamn expensive.
Well,
there's no way
you guys
always putting it in at 1,000 milligrams and all those other branded ingredients and selling this bitch for $65. There's no way.
You obviously don't want the throne. That's clearly he wants the throne, and he's going to do it with 1,000 milligrams of Vasodrive.
I'm sure he has a throne in his fucking household.
He should have done 1,016 because you know how people doing the doubles. He should have at least done 1,060 just to say like double, because now it's not double. It's like,
well, yeah, I mean that's because that's in line with the dosages. You do 127, 254, 508, 1016.
It just seemed like an odd mix of it. It did look like what you kind of said, like something that might have been spitballed around.
Right.
Like we should put this in there. We should put this in, and then like it needed a little bit more direction because 150 Synactive. I mean, even if you do that, I would have thought that would have then meant like, okay, this is going to be like a nice, well-rounded performance endurance pre. But then he's gone and thrown 1,000 milligrams of Vasodrive in there, and now the direction's gone in towards kind of pumps. So I mean, I'll buy it.
Who's this guy again?
No idea.
He's about to dethrone.
No, but seriously, who is this guy?
That guy right there.
Yeah, but I see him for the first time in my entire life, so I don't know who is this guy.
Well, that's because he doesn't have the throne yet. He has to get the throne, then you'll know who he is.
He's like a TikTok phenomena or what? I really don't know. I'm not being like I don't want to.
Yeah, there you go. Creamy said he said he's going to drop it at 65 on TikTok.
There's no way.
Creamy, you gonna buy it? Creamy, you gonna buy it? Oh, and a 700 milligrams.
I do commend him on not doing like an absolute ridiculous stim bomb, like you would expect some people to do. He's gone, and as unbalanced as it appears, I still feel like he's got some direction that's not entirely like Yohimbe, caffeine, and all that jazz.
Yeah, I do think it's overdosed for the polyphenols though, because you've got S7, you got Selflow 6, you got Pine Bark, you got Fitnox.
Is it overdosed, Robert, or is it right where he needs to be to take the throne?
Touche.
Yeah. I mean, unless you've got the throne. I mean, as far as I know.
Hey, Shane, who is on your throne?
Who is on my throne?
Yeah.
My top pre? My top pre still inspired, what's his face? State of the Union. Devastate of the Union.
Then you gotta send an email to Chris. You just got dethroned.
I don't know. Recovery. What are you looking for? Oh, while you're on here, go to the homepage. Did you see this beast that just dropped? That thing.
The moon pies?
Yeah, man. I thought this was fucking... This is on point. I don't know if too many of you read Stack, but back when G Fuel teamed up with MoonPie, I said it would be absolutely industry breaking if G Fuel put their gaming ingredients into a MoonPie. Because every collaboration is the other way around. They're bringing the candy flavor to the powder or the candy flavor to the drink. This is that other way around. This is an actual MoonPie, and FinaFlex has put protein in it. So this is as far as I know, this is the first collaboration where someone's gone the other direction and put the twist on their format. Like Warheads for Ghost, it's Warheads flavor in their supplement.
Yeah.
This is that protein twist, but in an actual MoonPie. So, I mean, and I actually love the fact that they've branded this as MoonPie kind of branding. Without FinaFlex's logo, you wouldn't think this is FinaFlex. This entirely looks like a MoonPie.
So it's FinaFlex? I always thought it was FinaFlex, like final, but with an F.
I have honestly no fucking clue. I could be miles off. I only say FINA because in swimming the governing body is FINA and you say FINA.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be FinaFlex. Could be FinaFlex. I don't know. Look.
FinaFlex? FinaFlex?
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. FFlex.
FinaFlex.
Yeah. But I thought this is what a collaboration should.
The right way to pronounce it is FinaFlex because it actually refers to a steroid FinaFlex H, which is by it's a veterinary drug that they make Trenbolone out of. So it's definitely borrowing from that aspect. You know, they kind of referring to that, but it's FinaFlex for sure. It's just the FinaFlex, the way it's spelled correctly, instead of an E at the end, it's an I.
Huh.
The more you know.
Look at that.
See? Now you know.
Thank you, Robbie.
Wrong. It's pellets that are getting crushed, and when you crush the pellets, they contain the drug called Trenbolone, and guys are mixing it with oil and stuff like that, making it into basically homemade steroid and Trenbolone. But the product is that the pellets are called fillers.
Oh,
It's good to have fake natties in the show.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
I like the way you're up in the ante on this, Shane. More than 4 times at 14 grams.
I could have said just
a
under
fine living
5.
for yourself at as a copywriter for an ad agency.
It is more than 4 times though.
It is.
And how much other macros it has?
Well, that's the
Do you
thing.
know?
I haven't. I as far as I know, they didn't. I found this on another website, so I don't know what the other numbers are. I don't expect them to be too outrageous, though.
Yeah, right.
To be honest, though, you have to realize that they've branded this as a MoonPie. This isn't for us. In my opinion, this isn't a snack for us. You can't expect low calories, low sugar. This is MoonPie's territory that they've then put protein into. So if you get the same calories as a MoonPie, I would not be at all surprised. Because MoonPie has put their logo, their name, their branding on it. I mean, like I said, I've never seen this before. This isn't something that, like, I think you could relate to.
That's a snack for chubby little bastards.
But you have to remember, I had this. I talked to the guys at 321, and they were saying that one of their angles for like functional is that it's not necessarily functional foods; it's more like healthier for you. So if someone goes to the store and they see MoonPie and PowerPie and they taste similar, and they reach for PowerPie, that's bettering the health of that individual. Not necessarily like me or you who want like no carbs and no fats and all higher proteins. But for the average person who doesn't touch a weight, this is probably like a godsend because kind of like Coke Zero. If you can get like a mainstream person to replace their regular Coke with Coke Zero, that's a big step in the healthier for you. Not necessarily like our diets, but you kind of get what I mean. Like it's that healthier for you option rather than like the whole super lean diet type thing.
Yeah, but I still think it's gonna be like a massive calorie bump, man. You know, especially with their like FinaFlex has these cookies. I don't remember what they
oatmeal protein
yeah
pie.
you know, and they're like stupid heavy when it comes to like calories. So I'm sure that this collab will be similar. With just like added protein, so this it's just gonna be a great marketing just for this perspective. But as far as like macro wise, no, fuck no.
Yeah, I think it's geared more towards the mainstream. I don't suspect it will be like us, but I think the way
it's exactly the same situation with Snickers, Mars, M&M bars. Like we are like selling a bunch of these, through the entire Europe, and even outside Europe, like people going crazy just to like get these bars. And it's not that they are like high in protein, and so on. This is just like a marketing snitch, just to get people into like consuming more protein. But if you compare the regular Snicker bar to a Snickers protein bar, they're pretty much exactly the same as far as like calories. So yeah, man, just
I can see that. Oh, Robert, you muted.
I'm muted. You're a ghost today. No, I was on screen for the first hour of the podcast. I just had to actually eat something, and I didn't feel like the rest of the viewing population wanted to see me chomping down on some protein bars. That's the first thing I've eaten all day. We woke up this morning.
He got so excited.
Say it again.
As soon as he saw Shane appearing, he had to go and masturbate for a couple of minutes.
I did. It was that Dethroner pre-workout formula, man. It got me all hot and bothered. We were talking about Cialis earlier. I couldn't contain myself anymore.
There's a lot of actual.
I mean, Sandy's not here right now. I mean, I had to figure out something to do. So
bust a nut or two.
I mean, I've got Oliver right here, so we could.
You can bust nuts together.
Did you bring up the Nutrex pre-workout yet?
No. I was trying to keep this on a mostly positive thing. If we keep going through shitty products, I'm going to need something a lot harder than this chocolate cake stout that I'm drinking.
Hey, come on, put it up. Let's end the show with this one. Heavy hitter.
Rob, with Apollon's protein being amazing, have you ever thought about making protein bars or stuff along that road?
Yeah, totally.
Do that. Let's focus on Hemo-Rage.
Yeah.
Unleash this.
Unleash beast. A couple of times about doing the bars, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit too much hassle with it. It's oversaturated as is, and to be honest with you, I mean, just doesn't appeal to me that much. So, I mean, I'm never say never, but I don't know. Not in the near future.
It's not a real fit, I think. Like, see, I had this discussion the other day. I was talking about a functional manufacturer, and he was saying that he would come up with a snack and say this would be the perfect snack for like this brand. And I said it's much harder to convince the owner because the owner typically starts that brand with an image in mind, and that image isn't necessarily like when you throw a bar in it, it makes you a completely kind of different thing. And I feel like owners such as yourself would just sort of be like, I never imagined doing a protein cookie or a protein cupcake or anything like that. It just
you're absolutely right. It's just the way I look at it from this perspective is that we have that, I guess you can call it a marketing angle or whatnot, and like Shane said, there is a certain status or a certain face of the company or image that you portray, and if the pre-workout, we have certain pre-workouts that have a certain reputation. Protein does taste. I mean, Apollon protein is known for tasting absolutely amazing and being a great formula, meaning that it delivers. The problem is that when we go to protein bars, I mean, let's be honest. I can't think of one protein bar that I would say, if it was Apollon's name on it, I'd be proud of it because it delivers great taste combined with actual being healthy, beneficial, and kind of like being parallel to what our protein represents. But unfortunately, most of the good tasting protein bars on the market are absolute crap when it comes to being actually healthy. There are a lot of good tasting protein bars, don't get me wrong, but they're so close to being an actual candy bar that I don't know. It just I don't think that even yesterday, Robert and I, when we talked about a possibility of making a weight gainer, we looked at a couple of brands, and the weight gainers are basically just loaded with sugar and crap and lots of carbs. They anything but healthy. So but it's possible to make a weight gainer that is actually in line with what Apollon does. being healthy, being good quality, kind of like parallel to what we do, and we can stand for it. But like Shane said, upon coming with a protein bar, it's just not going to look, I'm not saying it's not possible, it's just not going to look good, and it might be kind of a little bit off of what we do. So probably not going to happen.
I feel like if you could package a double beef burger and the buns be like no carb, if you could package that into like a little thing and somehow make it shelf stable, that would be Apollon. Like that would be like the Apollon burger, or I don't know, Assassin burger, like a big beef thing. Not that that's at all possible, but if you could, that's more fitting than an actual like
100%.
Call it the gut bomb.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, I don't know how you do it, like shelf stability on meat. Yeah, it's not going to work that well.
Make it like the Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches that are in the freezer section. Just find a way to do that. Put it in the freezer section. People can go and nuke it for 2 minutes, and then they come out and eat it.
Hey, I don't want to spoil anything, but at the same time, the brand ambassador for Apollon is Branch Warren, and Branch Warren owns a meat-based company, right? Wicked Cuts. So who knows? Maybe Apollon will do something with Wicked Cuts, because Robbie already released a sauce, right? Barbecue sauce. So they can come up with something on this angle. Who knows?
Yeah.
Before we get to Lucas's favorite topic of the day and Shane's,
Lucas feels aggressive. He just wants to go and fucking tear them apart.
Yeah, man.
we will answer a question from a previous.
I was waiting for this bitch for the entire night.
Oh God, I'm going to keep you up just a little bit longer, Grandpa. Just bear with us. Hold on for just a little bit longer. This is from our dearly beloved listener, Justin T. Had to rewatch, but in regards to the agmatine comments when talking about Savage and Super Pump, are you guys against agmatine? I had no idea it was illegal in Canada and Europe. How do we feel about agmatine in a pre-workout context, gentlemen?
Well, I should
fuck you.
We have it in pretty much everything. So
I like it.
Yeah, I should be quiet.
I haven't had a problem with it.
The only problem is that it's illegal in Europe. That's the main issue, man.
Yeah, the thought process behind putting agmatine in there is a couple of things. It's got some glucose disposal properties or nutrient partitioning properties. It's got some pain desensitization properties. So you saw Gaspari put that palmitoyl ethanolamide ingredient in their thing, which is not the same PEA as like the mood enhancing euphoria boosting ingredient. This PEA actually improves your ability to tolerate pain. Same thing with agmatine. It stimulates certain receptors, and they've done this with patients that have had lumbar spine injuries, and it's reduced their pain, or they're able to tolerate a greater amount of pain before actually feeling, hitting like a 4 on the pain scale or something along those lines. Then it also stimulates endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which is the enzyme that catalyzes the conversion of arginine into nitric oxide. And there is some cell data that shows it also inhibits arginase, which is the enzyme that breaks down arginine. So same thing with Huperzine to acetylcholinesterase is agmatine to arginase. So longer lasting nitric oxide, stronger pumps. This is mostly mechanistic data. We don't have a ton of studies in healthy human subjects showing that it leads to greater elevations in nitric oxide production, lower blood pressure, all of those kind of things. But it's a mechanistic extrapolation or extension of that preliminary data. 500 to 1,500 milligrams, if you're looking for those pain desensitization or analgesic benefits of it, you need to get up into the 3,000 milligram range of agmatine. But yes, it's illegal in Canada and Europe. So you're SOL for them. But if you live in freedom, like we do, you can have it. Yeah.
There's one small bite that you can use. You can replace the name on the label. Instead of using agmatine sulfate, you can put beetroot juice or something like that. So that way it will be legal. But you didn't hear that from me. Okay, let's go to the main event of the show. Are you ready to rumble?
I don't even want to dignify our podcast by talking about this horse shit.
Unleash the beast.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of other questions, including everyone's favorite, Sridhar, has a question. Sridhar, we'll come back to your question. We didn't forget you. Neither do we forget Simon, although can Unleash be whack 3D?
Yeah, let's maybe answer the questions first.
Whack 3D. See? It's catching on. Devin, thank you for that little nugget of gold. It's whack 3D. Okay. Do we tackle Sridhar's question or do we go to Nutrex?
No, let's answer his question and then go and and let Lukasz go crazy.
Okay.
We need to be respectful.
All right. No, we don't. Not when you release a dog shit product like that. Anyway, sorry. Sridhar, thoughts on protein blends? Would you always recommend them over plain whey or plain casein?
Well, I mean, since I guess we have that blend 50-50. Robert and I actually talked about this. There is, pretty much there are studies that have been done that, mixing whey and casein is pretty beneficial, so to speak. There says that they even show some advantage, but I don't think it's at the same time that of a significant advantage. And I don't think that it comes down to us recommending, so to speak, because, they sell so many proteins on the market. And usually it says whey, but there might be whey concentrate that has like 2%. I guess it depends on everybody's goals and what they want from the protein powder in the first place. If you want something, there is good quality whey protein concentrate. I mean, WPC 80, for example, or whey isolate, if you want to use it, we know that it kind of like, it's a very fast digesting protein. Casein is a lot slower, or you can mix the two of them. I mean, I don't think that I would recommend. I would more say they all if it's a quality protein, then it's a quality protein. You're getting it in plain and simple, but it depends on, I think, on your goals and what you want from the protein powder in the first place. So it's not about recommending. It's about, what you want and your knowledge, your research and whatnot. Will I say that casein is better than whey? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say whey is better than casein either. I'm going to say that whatever you want, whatever you need, maybe time of the day, maybe whether it's pre-workout, post-workout, before you go to bed, it all depends on those things. So if you're going to ask that question, then yeah, maybe recommendation can be made. Other than that, to say that would you always recommend over plain whey or casein? I would never always recommend. I would make maybe suggestions based on goals, but that's about it.
Shane, Lukasz?
I mean, I actually have a variety of proteins.
Yeah.
I usually use casein at the end of the day just because I do the sludge thing, and that just is a little easier than like a straight whey. But other than that, I only use isolate. But in saying that, if I am in a place where I need to buy protein and there's a blend, I'll have a blend. But I imagine scientifically there's like a drastic difference, like in a mini, or not drastic, but there's differences. But at the grand scheme of things, like where protein helps me build muscle and recovery and all that, I've never sort of seen like, holy shit, I must be taking isolate right now because my muscles are jacked or my strength is through the roof. I see it more as just like I'm getting protein in. And one might be faster than the other, one might be leaner, but it's like kind of like what Robert said. It would just depend on the situation. If I'm in a country where isolate's expensive, I'll get a blend. If I want casein to make sludge and it's reasonable, I'll get casein. I've never thought of it like, okay, I need to get isolate because that's the expensive one and that's gonna get the most gains. I feel like there are other areas of supplements where you could spend that extra bit of money and actually get more noticeable results than putting whatever the difference is, like 10, 20 on an isolate versus a blend.
Yeah, and Shane is absolutely right. It's a very, very personal choice. It's not like, oh my God, you must do this or else. It's not that situation. Just like I hate, and I mean, I absolutely hate recommending people how to train because, I mean, I don't know what the fuck you want to achieve with your body. I don't know how your body reacts to different training, to different methods. I don't know whether you're a runner or you're a fighter or you're a bodybuilder, what are your goals are, and I don't know how your body reacts. Some people react great to high volume, some people react great to low volume. It's up to you, and so that's the reason why the key word here is always recommend. I never recommend because if somebody's going to ask for my opinion, I'm going to say pretty much more or less what Shane said. Go with. I mean, would I recommend cheap concentrate that I don't know the source and I don't know the exact amount of protein? For me personally, I would prefer not to. But at the same time, between isolate and casein and whatnot, typically isolate is a little bit watery and a little bit on a thinner side. So what Shane said, casein for something like sludge or something like that probably is a little bit better with consistency. And later in the day, you want something that maybe, especially overnight, digests a little bit slower because you want to have that in your body, so to speak. But again, it's personal preference. If late at night, Shane doesn't have access for whatever reason to casein, I'm pretty sure he's going to use isolate or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
think
like
y'all are all wrong because Dr. Jim says that blends are best.
Well, see, you gotta understand. I'm not saying that there's not a best. I feel like there is a best. I feel like isolate or this amount of this amount, but what I sort of say is that the difference is gonna come down to your price, your budget. Like if you're like, holy shit, I'm not gonna buy a pre-workout so I can afford isolate or this specific blend. Don't do that. Like it'd be more important to get something else in your stack. I definitely feel like there is proof that one is better than the other, but I just feel like in real world,
and that's completely do or die. You're right.
yeah, like in real world results, I feel like if you get the best of the best in protein, it's not going to be that noticeable, like in results. I feel like there are bests though, because obviously there's a lot of science in the blends and then the isolate and the forms of isolate, but I don't know. I've tried a whole bunch of them, but
no, you guys have pretty much touched on everything that is right. The small handful of studies that have been done comparing blends to single source proteins show that in the short term, there might be a minor slight advantage in terms of recovery or muscle gains. Again, these are short studies that are sponsored by supplement companies that make blends. So in the short term, over an 8-week period with people that aren't regularly training at an intense level, that have not been training for years and years in the gym, there is a small but statistically significant improvement for blends. This is because higher leucine content of whey plus prolonged amino acid levels in the bloodstream of casein plus the slower digestibility of egg, which is kind of that middle digesting layer, promotes a longer elevation in amino acid levels in the blood, which should lead to a longer, greater anabolic period, less catabolic period. Over the course of 40 to 50 years, do I think you're going to notice any big difference between using a whey protein versus a casein versus a blend? No. I don't think there will be any benefit. And same thing with whey versus casein. There are studies showing that whey outperforms casein in terms of muscle building. There's also studies that show no difference whatsoever. So the major takeaway is hit all your protein each day. That's the important thing. Then find a protein that agrees with your GI system and your budget, number 2. And then after that, then you can look at optimizing whey protein versus casein protein versus a blended protein. So, related question. I see milk protein isolate listed in ingredients for protein bars and powders. How is it different from casein or whey isolate? Milk protein contains both whey and casein in their naturally occurring ratio of 20% whey protein to 80% casein. So instead of having a whey isolate component and a casein isolate component, milk protein isolate is both of them already together in there.
Well, I mean, the answer is pretty simple. For marketing reasons, I'm pretty sure that every brand would like to use whey isolate in as ingredient because it just sells better and it's kind of has that stigma that it's the superior, the best. But like Robert just said about casein, there are studies that show the casein is superior, and there are studies that show isolate is superior. But for whatever reason, people like the word whey. I mean, they like whey. That's it. Sometimes it's shitty concentrate, like I said, with like 2% protein in it, but the word whey sells it automatically. So I think whey protein isolate would be great for anyone who's manufacturing candy bars or protein bars or whatever. But the reason for milk protein isolate, and again, I'm not comparing the qualities, the milk protein is because there is a word isolate in it. It's a little bit misleading, and it might give you an idea that it's actually whey isolate. It's going to push the sales a little bit or influence the sales or kind of make it look like it's something that it's not. But the main reason, it's actually cheaper. There is no other thing.
Okay.
Lukasz is just quietly sitting in the corner waiting for you motherfuckers to hurry up.
And for Lukasz's salvo. News broke earlier this week, courtesy of whack3d.com. Nutrex Research has released a brand new pre-workout called Hemo-Rage Unleashed with an extremely light 4.131 gram blend.
I gotta put the word in there, right? It's gotta be light.
The extremely light blend. Nutrex's Hemo-Rage formula.
And we do know the caffeine is 400.
Blend, yes. A non-fully transparent blend of L-citrulline, betaine, taurine, and acetyl-L-tyrosine, alpha-GPC, caffeine anhydrous, theacrine, bioperin, rowolfia. And we know that caffeine is 400 milligrams. Ingredients on the supplement packs panel have to be listed in order of their weight. What do we think of this, gentlemen? So 400 milligrams of caffeine alone plus 1 to 2 milligrams of rowolfia is going to kick you in the teeth no matter who you are. Unless, say, TJ. So, all right, Lukasz, you get to lead everything off on this since you wanted to talk about this steaming pile of horseshit.
Where should I begin? Hey, you know what? I remember the first.
Where it started and how you felt initially about Nutrex and what it is now and this formula.
Yeah. I will start by saying that when I first saw the first announcement that Shane did on Nutrex Hemo-Rage, I was just sky high, because when he said that something big is coming and it's gonna be a pre-workout, I was just like shitting my pants all over the place, because I knew from the get-go that they're gonna resurrect the beast, which is one of my favorite pre-workouts in the history of the pre-workouts. You know me, I said it plenty of times in this show, and I said it again. Hemo-Rage was probably one of my top 5 pre-workouts of all time. And they, back in the day when Nutrex had this like amazing squad, Larissa Reese and King Khan, and when he was advertising the product, this was just like something else, something different. It was just unique combination of ingredients. Of course, it was on illegal substances.
I was gonna say, it had DMAA back then, didn't it?
Citrate in particular, if I recall.
They had this back in the DMAA days. Did they?
Yeah.
Not? Way back.
Yeah. So if you guys will like maybe Google it up, put it like Hemo-Rage Black, you will see.
I believe it's
I'm sure.
Underground, Black Underground.
Underground. That's correct, man.
Ultra concentrate. No, not that
No.
one. Not that one. No, not that
Not this one. Not this one.
No.
Not this one.
Don't disrespect
Underground.
the Hemo-Rage.
Of course.
I think it. Just go to images, and it should be.
That's the fourth one.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've got the fax panel on there, do they?
I don't think so.
There was a couple versions of this as well.
Yes, and one was directly on DMAA, and then they reformulated to citrate, and then they produced the black one. Yeah, but anyways, it was probably one of my go-to pre-workouts, and I was like training on it like multiple times per week. So
it was a beast.
Yeah, this was a product that connected me and Shane. Yeah, but anyways, so Shane posted the story that Nutrex is coming with something big. So I was excited, same as probably all of you guys out there. And then I saw a new story that was posted this week.
It's in chat. There you go, Robert. It's in chat. I think that's the right one.
And they launched a full formula. So it's not even transparent, which is like a shot in a dick. And yeah.
That's it, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that is.
That's not it. That's not it, Shane.
It's got the DMHA in it right there. The DMAA, the methylhexanamine.
Yeah.
I think this is the original. They had many versions after it.
Yeah.
But this was... Yeah, but you got to remember, Jacked was also a beast, and if you remember seeing that formula.
Yeah, they also like changed it multiple times.
DMAA did a lot of the work for a lot of those pre-workouts back then.
Oh yeah, man. I don't think you're gonna find it like that.
Yeah, they also had it in Lipo 6 too.
The Zingarone? It's just saying ginger. Are they gonna replace the ginger with actual that or?
No, like way back when they did Hemo-Rage.
This is Lipo 6.
Vigorously disagrees with FDA allegations.
Well, this was obviously a long time
10 years ago. It's a decade ago. How old does that make you feel? Am I still muted? No. Okay, I'm not. Hemo-Rage Black, Lipo 6 Black Ultra Concentrate, Lipo 6 Black, Lipo 6 Black Hers Ultra Concentrate, and Lipo 6 Black Hers were adulterated because they contain DMAA.
212. God damn, I'm fucking old.
Yes, you are.
Not as old as Robert's friends.
Hey.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Julian George.
I just need a dog.
My best friend's name from kindergarten's name was George. The people whose dogs we were watching are named Chris and Charlotte.
Okay. Oh, maybe next week I'll remember.
There you go. Well, next week, Oliver's going away on Monday night. They get back from Scotland on Monday night.
I hope they don't watch this, although they probably don't know how to work phones.
No. Yes. They don't watch this. My own parents don't even watch this, so it's fine. You know, which is probably a good thing.
Old people are too easy.
I would just say regarding this nonsense about Nutrex, I think I would like it more if they didn't put in ingredients at dosages, so citrulline, betaine, taurine, alpha GPC. If they just made this,
taurine, I think was all right.
Hey, hold on. But let's start with this. Let's start with this one. They released a pre-workout outlift. It's not bad,
Yeah.
and it's fully transparent.
Mhm.
So why not like base on this pre-workout and release a product that is like, let's say, transparently, dosed with some good amount of ingredients, focus on, let's say, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 ingredients max, and just like do it in like let's say $40, range type of a deal.
Yeah.
It would be good. And instead they like shoot themselves in the head, because they're basically like, not only they released a non-transparent blend, it's definitely underdosed on heavily on every fucking ingredient, and most of all, which hurts me, that they resurrected the name Hemo-Rage. Like, Hemo-Rage is a legendary name. You don't touch a legend and you like bash it, because they literally bashed their own pre-workout. The only pre that was like well remembered by all the consumers, from back in the days. The only product right now that is selling for Nutrex, in my opinion, is Lipo6.
Yeah.
The name stays strong still, and in Europe it sells really good, the entire line of Lipo6. But it just, after this warrior line and so on, I don't think it's gonna last long. If they're gonna do moves like this.
Everything you just said, I obviously I agree with. But to be totally honest, I mean, Nutrex had some. It was by far one of my favorite companies, and I already, without going into details, I already mentioned that a couple of companies that I liked. We discussed it in personal chat, in private chat. I'm disappointed with. We'll get to that maybe one day, but I mean, just to kind of stick to the topic. Um, Hemo-Rage was an amazing pre-workout, definitely, without a doubt. Um, I think that every company has like a loyal following, where people kind of like stick by the company and they kind of have to perform to a certain level. And Shane and I, we often talked about, and he often uses the phrase like, this is Apollon style, or this is not Apollon style, so as to stick to what you do, to your identity. And I always pay attention to that, because it's a very fine line. I was very, very skeptical, and I was scared when we started, releasing the white label container with the health aspect, because I also did not want to. I wanted to make sure that people that made us known and popular and supported us, that liked Hooligan and Assassin and whatnot, I didn't want to do what a lot of companies do and kind of like break away from that and kind of go mainstream. I wanted to kind of bring that aggressiveness that we did with Hooligan and Assassin and transparency, and bring it to the healthy stuff, to the wellness as well, where we still aggressive, full dosages and whatnot, kind of not to lose the identity of the company and not to lose the respect of loyal supporters. So it would kind of extend onto that. I feel what Nutrex did, I think they fucked up. They're not the only company that did that. I mean, I could name few companies, but since we're sticking to Nutrex, I mean, I'm going to try and behave a little bit. This makes no sense to me. This means that your loyal supporters are going to be very disappointed with you. They're going to be turning their back on you. So the logic behind it is obviously to save money, because obviously this costs a lot less than the previous version of versions. So they try to save money. That can indicate either that the company is in trouble, not saying they are, but it could be the case where they're trying to save everything they can, and they still trying kind of like to cash on a good name that they used to have. Because Lukasz, you're a perfect example, just like I am. you like the company, and now you're upset, you're disappointed, you're even angry as to they releasing products that are subpar, not even subpar. I mean, they just kind of like a lot less to what they used to be. And this either they phasing out and the company's gonna fucking tank, or or they're gonna be selling somewhere in Indonesia or whatever, cheap products that are not gonna be supported by by the consumers that we have right now here, because obviously it's gonna be a turnoff. I think that the key to every company's success is to stick to what they do best. And either if you're releasing another version of a product that is a successful product that has a following, then either release another flavor, a better flavor, or or improve on the formula, of course. But what you said about Warrior, right? When Warrior came out and I saw the container, that black container, and that aggressive look, I thought it's actually a nice look. I thought that it looks pretty cool. When I looked into the supplement facts, I was absolutely shocked. But instead of using that money and making a great product, they decided to hype the product. They went pretty much with influencers, and they went with athletes, and they went with price plow, and they were hyping up the product to be good, where in reality, I mean, it pretty much disappeared almost instantly. So I think that's the problem. Like, I don't think the companies should reinvent themselves. I think they should stick to what they do best. And clearly, Nutrex went the opposite direction, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever, other than, they're trying to save money, because they are saving money by releasing this for whatever reason it is.
I think what they were trying to do here is like the notable high stem call out. Like, I think that was their goal, was kind of like how a lot of brands have, even Apollon. You've got your more performance focused, your high stem, your more moderate, like hooligan. Like, I feel like they were trying to do that because they have Outlift and they have Outlift Amped. Outlift is their comprehensive, and Outlift Amped is meant to be their kind of highest stem, but it's still kind of balanced. And then this, from my end, from at least how I'm seeing it, is that obviously high stem pre-workouts have become quite popular, just purely stem based. And I think this is what that was meant to be, or technically what that is. I think it is the highest stimulant pre-workout, but I think where the disappointment comes in is that they put in all those other ingredients, the citrulline, the taurine, the things that weren't necessarily for stimulant effects. So that's where they lost me a bit. I was sort of like, if you look at the N-acetyl tyrosine down, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's about what you probably would expect if the thing just said high stim. But when you put in citrulline, and you have citrulline at 6 grams in another product, and then you clearly don't put it at 6 grams in this, I don't want to be mean, but I have trouble understanding when a brand finds reason to put 6 grams of something in one pre-workout but doesn't put it in the other. Either you're lying in one, or you're like what are we meant to believe? Like, I would have preferred them not put it in, because then it's like, because then it's kind of like, I don't know, it confuses. I think it would confuse consumers. Like, if you don't know what the ingredient is or the doses, and you see it at 6 and then you see it not at 6, you might be like, okay, what is it meant to be at? Am I getting too much in Outlift? Am I getting not enough in this? And when you start asking questions, it's hard, it's confusing for the consumer. But I feel like from the alpha, the N-acetyl tyrosine down, I would have dropped the other 3 and maybe slipped in a bit more for stems, and then you would have just had a pure stem pre-workout. But because they've got this other stuff in there, that's where I feel like it's lost its goal. Because us as supplement enthusiasts, we look at it and go, oh shit, you put citrulline in there, but the blend's 4 grams, and that's usually 6. So straight away, you're like you're already kind of disappointed. If you're going to put it in there like you do an Outlift. So, and I feel like that's where we get.
Well, the thing is, I disagree with that completely, and I'll explain why. I disagree because Hemo-Rage is a good name. It's a good name. It's a solid name. It's a proven name. It's a pre-workout that is actually liked, loved by a lot of people. So when you're releasing a new version of Hemo-Rage, it's actually expected that it's going to be as good or better than the previous one. This is a complete disappointment. So if they wanted an energy-based product without tarnishing their own reputation and their own product, they should have probably dropped all this nonsense and release it under a different name and not use Hemo-Rage and completely tarnish it. When you release a Hooligan 6 or Hooligan 7 and everybody says, oh wow, it's coming, I wonder how much better it's going to be. I wonder what they're going to do with this one. They anticipate a better product and they're getting a better product. With this one, I'm pretty sure Lukasz and everybody who liked Hemo-Rage, they expected a better product. So when this drops, this is a complete disappointment. I mean, citrulline, you're lucky if you have a gram or two of this of citrulline in this formula. Anyone who understands and everyone who knows Hemo-Rage as a product, they know this is a disappointment. You want something, I mean, just make a pill or a powder with caffeine and alpha yohimbe, and it's going to kick ass, and you present it as such, and you charge less money for it, and it's going to be a great product specifically for energy. But don't try and kind of make money off a good name of a former hit product and tarnish your own reputation and tarnish your own name, because that's essentially what you're doing. I mean, pretty much every ingredient on this list is severely underdosed, and we know it. But at the same time, when you take it, you will have energy.
I feel like the stems are pretty on point. I don't feel like
definitely on point. The stems are definitely on point.
But that's what I think the goal was. But if you click that link that I sent
but then remove the name Hemo-Rage or remove the other ingredients and don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah, see, that's what I feel. I feel it's the other ingredients that ruined it not actually ruined 100%. It, but
100% because the energy on this, I mean, the stems on this are pretty solid.
This is. So, even though the original DMA, Hemo-Rage had DMA, they have launched several since then. So this is one of them. This was back in 2016. I think this might have been the last one before this one. I can't be too sure. But I don't think this was too far off what we're seeing here. Well, there's a little more variety, but obviously this was 2016. But this is this was similar to me. I feel. But then, obviously, this was about, I think, maybe 4 years after the DMA Hemo-Rage. But I see what you mean, because back in the day, Hemo-Rage was purely stems. That was the thing. Yeah. But for me, it just... And obviously, they wanted to continue that reputation in every version since then because it's known for stems. And I don't know, I kind of get lost in it just because, like you said, it was all about the stimulant experience. Yeah. And even the original had carnosine in it. And even this one has carnosine in it. So you can see that they've tried to make it focus on high stim, but still include some of those other things.
I mean, let's be honest, if they dropped citrulline out of the formula altogether, we probably would be a little bit more acceptable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if you took the three big ones, the taurine, the citrulline, the betaine, mm-hmm. and slipped in, I don't know, dynamine, in extra, just something a little bit to make it pure stim. But I think for the average consumer, they're just going to be like, oh shit, this is Hemo-Rage, they'll take it, feel the kick. Yeah. But because we're used to seeing these ingredients, that's where I think the disappointment comes from. And I feel like that they've achieved what they want to do, but it's just that seeing citrulline at an amount that they obviously have it at in another product, that's where I get a bit lost as a consumer. Like if you know Outlift 6 grams citrulline, well, I think I can't remember what there's a citrulline malate, but, and then you go to this and you're like, but this isn't the same dose. I would feel really confused as a consumer. Like if you watched a movie and you loved the superhero and he was jacked as shit, and in the sequel, he turned into a string bean, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, why you're confusing me now? And that's where I feel like they've hit the stim mark, but for stimulant, for like supplement enthusiasts, I think we're all kind of on the same path. Like, why put citrulline in it when you know the amount that it should be, as you've shown in those other products?
The funny thing is, if they wanted to include a pump ingredient, because like you said, this was supposed to be a stim kind of drug, right? But if they did put, say, for example, nitrosamine, right? So nitrosamine we know is about 1,500 milligram to be effective. Then the 4 gram or whatever the fuck it is, 4.1 gram wouldn't look so suspicious and wouldn't look so ridiculous. And if it's even if it's a prop blend, they could have used 750 milligram of nitrosamine. We wouldn't even know, or 300 or whatnot. I mean, they could have fooled us and saved money, because I know that 1,500 milligram full dose of nitrosamine versus say 4 grams of citrulline. Citrulline, I think, is going to be still more expensive. And over here, you probably have a gram or 500 milligram or 1,000. I don't know how much citrulline is in this product. But regardless of that,
see, my guess is 1.5.
I also think that it's somewhere around that area between 1 and 2.
And then maybe the betaine 1, the taurine,
and
7.
Then,
I don't know.
You're probably right. But nitrosamine, if they use nitrosamine and they put it in a prop blend, would not be looking this. I'm sorry to use the word dumb, because it looks pretty dumb right now. It wouldn't look as suspicious. But altogether, if they just fucking lost citrulline completely and kind of concentrate on it, like you said, an extra, even though an extra is also an ingredient, it would be pretty cool. They could have used that caffeine mallet to get to something. I mean, the cheaper shit, I don't know, Juglans or something like that. Something cheaper, yet still legal, but something that kicks ass. I think it would be more successful. I think that, like you said, the first 3 ingredients is what kind of like really gets the trash talk and kind of like,
well, when you say 4 gram blend and citrulline's in there, you're kind of like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I feel like it just I don't know. For supplement enthusiasts, I think it puts us off because, like I said, we've seen them use a good dose.
Selling it to a consumer that knows, I mean, this is a mathematic fact. But if you sell it to somebody who doesn't know, you and I both know that this product, in terms of energy, you're gonna get your fucking money worth for sure. But somebody's gonna take it. A gym rat's gonna take the product and he's gonna tell his buddies, "Listen, I took Hemo-Rage. That shit works. It's strong. It definitely works. But at the end of the day, it is what it is."
Because they were saying on our Instagram post, they had a lot of comments and they're going back and forth saying, you should try it, it hits, you should try it, it hits. And I think it was just, and I understood that was their point, was to make something that hit, which is what Hemo-Rage was originally kind of known for, like a hard hitting pre. And so my guess is that that was their goal to achieve. Yeah. But I just feel like they might have been able to find better response if they didn't put ingredients that weren't going to contribute to that hard-hitting high stim experience, which citrulline's not going to, betaine's not going to, and I think that's where they may, because a lot of the commenters were obviously annoyed about it, but if they didn't see citrulline in there, I don't think they would have been that disappointed.
Of course.
So I feel like if they had just made it entirely about stims, swap those things out for something, even if they put all those in a blend, I don't know. I just feel like their message would have been received better, just because, like I said, they have achieved what they want to do, but it's just that those two that are obviously not at the amounts that we know them for, that makes it a bit, I don't know, off for me.
Agreed.
Any final comments, questions, queries, quips, or smart-ass remarks from the peanut gallery? This is the last call. Otherwise, we will depart here shortly and allow all you fine individuals to get on with your day. Thank you for tuning in, as always. We appreciate it. Otherwise, we would just be talking about shitty pre-workouts that are underdosed and put in a prop blend.
Well, the expo is on Monday, and I tell you right now, there's a lot to be talking about next Saturday.
What place is this that's holding a fitness expo on Monday?
Whacked 3D.
Whacked 3D. Okay. All right. Good. All right.
Make sure you pronounce it 3D, because I heard the owner's like, that's just fucking retarded.
Whacked 3D. Here we go. And if all of you just want to, realize how much nicer it is where you live than where I'm living right now.
What's that say? I can't.
108 degrees tomorrow.
Can you give us it in proper units?
Yes, 102 degrees or 108 degrees in freedom units.
It's like 45, 50.
That is, so 108 degrees in Fahrenheit is, just convert it for me.
It has to be around 45.
42 degrees Celsius.
That's not bad, I guess.
Fuck, it's like an African.
Yeah, considering the humidity, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't mind the heat because I've been in Vegas when it's been up in the 40s and it's
But that's
bad.
dry. That's very dry.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yes.
humidity right there is only in the 40% range. It's 42% humidity right now.
Oh,
So we're okay.
Yeah, because I've been I hate the places where it's hard to breathe.
Yeah, it's
Like
New Orleans.
some of the islands, some of like the tropical areas. I just sweat my dick off, and it's just there's not much dick to sweat off in the first place. So it's a
That's where the
it's
name
not just-
Kiwi comes from, because it's little. I got it now.
Hey man, kiwis are feisty.
They pack a lot in a little package. There we go.
Yeah,
Small
man.
but fair.
Yeah, like the original Jacked.
Ultra concentrated.
Yeah, it's not small. It's just concentrated.
Beast.
Ultra concentrated scoop.
And then the Americans come along with their fully dosed.
Yeah, we don't want an Apollon scooper. We want a ultra concentrate. That's what we want. And we're back full circle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there appear to be no other comments coming in or questions. So, thank you as always for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video with family, friends, and loved ones. If you have a question or comment for a future episode recording of the Final Scoop, post it in the comment section below. Shoot me an email to supplementengineer@gmail.com. Hit up Shane, Robbie, or Lukasz at their respective points of contact for more in-depth information. Sign up for the
Oh, look at that.
daily
prepared.
email blasts or the Supplement Engineer Patreon account. Either one of those.
Oh, you must have subscribed to get that image.
Hey, man. I signed up last week. You saw me sign up on the thing last week.
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna unsubscribe as soon as you left.
What kind of friend would I be if I did that?
The person who hides ads and turns off notifications.
Make sure to Sridhar, a lot of you have missed it.
Oh, look at that. That is fantastic. He's not wrong.
Sridhar, a lot of you have missed out on news like MoonPie's PowerPie because you didn't subscribe to Stack or turn off notifications. It's time to change that so you can get all the latest news.
I swear I don't pay this guy.
Sri didn't.
He's in the UK right now.
I just have a question for you, Shane, though.
Oh,
And
God,
parting
what?
thoughts. I came across this the other day when I was looking at something on Stacked. I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
The new king of recovery supplements.
You tried this? I mean, it's
I
not
do-
around anymore.
I've went through 2 tubs of it. Eric sent me a couple of those. But where was it? Where's the list of the best recovery supplements?
Oh, God, that's going... Yeah. No, go all categories.
Yeah, that's where I was going. This is still number 1.
Yeah, it's still number 1. I still rank that number 1. Yeah, flight, overtraining solution, post-gym, anabolic coma is not around anymore.
Well, neither is amino PM for that matter.
Yeah, I know.
The over the top account here.
Nah, see, because I have trouble. I don't really rank like intra workouts as recovery products.
No, that's true.
It's such a weird category for me. So it's usually sleep aids and post workouts that I rank. But those are very rare categories. Those two, especially post workout, you don't really get those much anymore.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you one and all for joining us. We will see you all next time on the Final Scoop.
Take care.